Welcome to the deep dive. So you gave us an assignment.
We did.
You asked us to analyze a very specific business profile profession tree specialist.
Right, which also operates as tree service specialist.
And we have compiled a pretty deep stack of their foundational sources. We've got the About Us pages, the mission statements, all of it.
That's right. Our listener is basically looking for a shortcut to being really well informed about this company. And we're going to try to move beyond just the bullet points and actually extract the actionable insights.
The core values, the real timeline.
Exactly. And crucially, what makes their service delivery in Southern California unique? We need to figure out how over 30 years of, this claimed family legacy actually shapes what they do today.
This is a great exercise because, look, when you hire a specialized service like tree care, you're buying a few key things.
Competence, safety,
and local knowledge. So our goal isn't just to summarize what they say about themselves. It's to test the weight of it. Why should their history matter to you, the homeowner, right now?
That context is absolutely vital. I mean, tree care involves some really high-risk stuff.
Oh, yeah. Removals.
Removals, exactly. And it requires a nuanced understanding of arboriculture. So if a company is claiming deep community ties and, longevity, we need to see how that translates.
How does it actually show up?
Yeah. Does it show up in their safety protocols, in how they handle permits, or in some kind of specialized knowledge of the local environment?
Okay, so let's unpack this history. The company's story, based on the documents, it doesn't start with the current name.
Not at all. Or even the current legal structure.
It goes way back. It's anchored in the late 1980s.
And that's more than just a date. It really sets the tone for the whole narrative. You get this tale of a young tree enthusiast, and he's influenced by his father's, profound love for trees.
Right. It immediately frames the business not as some, commercial startup,
but as a family thing.
Yeah.
A long-term stewardship project. It's an appeal to passion over just pure profit.
And the thing that immediately stood out to me was the learning model they describe.
The side-by-side learning.
Yeah. The current founder apparently honed his skills by absorbing wisdom passed down through generations. So when we hear ancestral knowledge in tree care, what does that practically mean for a customer? Are we talking about specific old-school techniques?
Well, that's the core tension we have to analyze, right?
Okay.
Because in a field that's governed by science arboriculture, does tradition really trump technology? The claim of side-by-side learning suggests, I think, a really deep understanding of how a tree grows and reacts to pruning over decades.
Not just where to make the cut today.
Exactly. It's this deep longitudinal knowledge that's often crucial for diagnosing subtle issues, like recognizing local soil deficiencies or identifying pests that are specific to, say, the Whittier microclimate that a less experienced arborist might just miss.
So it's not just a romantic idea. It's knowledge that's built up through constant observation in a very specific place.
Right.
They even use this analogy that their commitment cultivated a love for trees that ran deeper than roots. And that personal commitment, they say, spanning over 3 decades, is what they leverage to become, quote, trusted advisors and friends.
And 30 years in Southern California is significant. I mean, think about it.
It really is.
It means they've survived multiple economic downturns, drastic climate shifts, especially the droughts.
Oh, the droughts, for sure.
And all the changes in local permitting and regulations across the different towns they serve. Longevity here is basically a claim to financial stability and, reliable adherence to constantly changing rules.
That makes the foundation feel really solid. Okay, so now here's where the story pivots.
The transition.
Yes. After that multi-decade period, the founder forges his own path in 2013, and he creates the entity we know today as Tree Service Specialist.
That 2013 date, that's the formal launch. It's the new generation officially taking the helm.
Right.
It's the point where they go from just operating on family reputation to creating a structured, licensed business that's built on that reputation.
And this brings us to the numbers game. Because while they've been operating under the Tree Service Specialist banner for, more than 8 years now, they constantly pivot back to their anchor, the over 3 decades of combined family experience. That continuity is clearly the most important selling point.
It absolutely is. And for anyone interested in, doing their due diligence, the documents clearly list a license number. It's 99848.
Okay, so to a homeowner, that's just a string of digits. What does that number actually tell us?
Well, generally, older, lower license numbers can indicate an earlier incorporation. A number up in the 900,000 range, like this one, suggests a more recent formal license, maybe late 2000s, 2010s.
Which confirms the story.
It confirms the narrative completely. The experience is generational, but the formal business entity is newer. It cements that 2013 shift.
That's a key distinction for you, the learner. Experience versus formal incorporation.
Yeah.
Now let's look at where they're committing to serve. Their mission and vision are very, very focused on location.
Super focused. They define their operational scope very precisely. The mission is to provide safe, reliable, and honest tree care, but specifically for communities
At
in
Whittier and Downey.
Whittier, Downey, and the surrounding towns. They're not trying to be some sprawling regional contractor. They really emphasize respect, transparency, and making professional tree care easy and accessible.
So what's the tactical advantage of being so hyper-local to Whittier and Downey?
It means they're intimately familiar with the specific tree species that thrive and, suffer in those valley communities.
Like the ficus trees, the palms.
Exactly. The specific ornamental trees that you see in those older Southern California neighborhoods. But even more practically, it means they likely have established relationships with the local city planning and permitting offices.
Which can drastically speed up a complicated tree removal process for you.
A huge time saver and a massive stress reducer for any homeowner.
For sure. Now, their vision, that scales up a little bit beyond just that immediate neighborhood focus.
It does.
Yeah.
While they're focused locally, their vision is pretty ambitious. They want to become the leading choice for families looking for the best or top-rated tree removal in the broader Southern California region.
Okay.
They want to protect the local environment, educate the community, and critically, they want to raise the standard of tree care.
Which suggests they're constantly benchmarking their methods against the highest industry standards.
Yeah.
Not just, the guy down the street.
And that requires continuous training. It requires investment in modern equipment, which is an important counterpoint to that ancestral knowledge claim.
Right. It implies they're blending old wisdom with new tech.
Exactly. They're aiming for a stewardship that's both rooted in tradition and at the same time forward-looking in its practice.
All right, let's pivot now from their legacy to their value proposition. The materials lay out 7 very specific, practical reasons why a client should choose them.
Mm-hmm.
These are the nuggets of knowledge that would directly inform your hiring decision.
This is where the rubber meets the road. The first factor is local expertise. We've already touched on this. They grew up caring for landscapes in Whittier, Downey, La Habra. But what does local expertise mean in practice?
Well, it means they understand how the seasonal Santa Ana winds affect specific limbs and a tree's structural integrity.
Right.
It means they know which invasive species are currently plaguing the area, or how the specific clay content in the soil of certain neighborhoods affects root growth. This knowledge prevents a lot of guesswork.
That deep, hyper-local knowledge feeds directly into factor 2, family values. They promise to treat every property with the same care they give their own yard.
And you see this reflected, often in crew consistency and long-term customer relationships.
Yeah, if they maintain a friendly, stable crew, which is suggested by clients returning year after year, it just reduces risk and improves communication on the job site.
And then we get to credentials. Factor 3, certified skills backed by generations. The 30-plus years of experience is reinforced by their use of proven techniques rooted in arboriculture and proper pruning. I want to slow down on proper pruning. What does that actually look like?
Well, proper pruning means they're adhering to ANSI standards. It's about making calculated cuts to maximize the tree's health, its stability, its longevity, and avoiding the practice known as topping, which just severely stresses the tree and leads to rapid, weak regrowth.
Right.
So when they mention they can handle everything from simple trimming to complex dead tree removal, they're claiming their foundational skills apply across that whole spectrum of complexity.
Factor 4 is the really critical safety component. Safe tree removal done with precision. When they talk about precision and controlled methods, what might those specific methods be, and why are they safer?
In high-density Southern California neighborhoods, precision often means using specialized equipment.
Like a crane?
Exactly. Using a crane or advanced rigging systems to lower massive sections of wood without damaging fences, roofs, utilities. The alternative is typically just free-falling sections or, climbing and dropping, which increases risk exponentially.
So when they stress careful planning.
No. It means they're investing time in detailed risk assessments before the first cut is ever made.
And that investment in planning is crucial for your peace of mind and, frankly, for your insurance coverage.
Hmm.
Okay, moving to factor 5, fair pricing. They commit to clear pricing, honest explanations, focusing on affordability and transparency. But how do you reconcile fair pricing with the specialized equipment and generational expertise we just talked about?
That's a good challenge. High expertise often comes at a premium.
Right.
So when they stress transparency, it suggests they provide itemized quotes that explain why something like a crane rental is necessary for safety, rather than just bundling it in vaguely.
So they're appealing directly to the customer who's already searched online for how much should tree removal cost.
Yes. And who is looking to avoid surprise charges or hidden disposal fees?
Okay. Factor 6 addresses the unexpected. Fast response. When you need us most, they promise a quick response for emergencies, like after a storm or a sudden tree failure. In their area, Whittier and Downey is a fast response, truly applicable 24/7.
In this context, a fast response usually means having dedicated, rotating emergency crews available for priority dispatch after a big weather event. And they'd be specifically targeting hazards like a partially fallen tree that's blocking your driveway or threatening your house. That commitment is a major differentiator. A lot of smaller operations just can't sustain 24-hour availability.
And finally, factor 7, reputation built on trust. They cite word-of-mouth referrals as a major source of their clients.
Which is the oldest form of marketing.
But it carries immense weight in the home service industry.
It really does. It signifies a lower reliance on expensive digital advertising and a higher reliance on client satisfaction. I mean, when most of your business comes from referrals.
You have a massive incentive to make sure the job is done perfectly.
Flawlessly. Because your next customer is probably standing in your current customer's driveway watching.
So if we synthesize all 7 of these factors, you see a business strategy that's focused entirely on longevity and safety, not just quick turnover.
Definitely.
Their priority is clearly long-term tree health, improving safety, and the overall health of your yard, positioning themselves way above just, basic tree cutting services.
Absolutely. The entire value chain, from that 1980s family knowledge all the way to the 2013 formalization, it's all aimed at reducing risk for the homeowner and maximizing the health of the community's canopy.
So what does this all mean? This deep dive really shows that their claims of a family legacy are directly translated into tangible, specific service commitments. We're talking hyper-local knowledge of soil and weather, adherence to arboricultural standards, and a heavy investment in safety planning to protect you and your property. Their whole identity is rooted in those specific Southern California communities.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this company is an excellent case study. It highlights how businesses that are rooted in this multi-generational family experience can leverage their unique, specific knowledge.
Like navigating decades of local environmental change.
Exactly. They can leverage that as a strategic, irreplaceable advantage over more generic competitors.
Yeah.
It's really hard to teach 30 years of localized experience in a training manual.
So that generational expertise, combined with modern safety requirements, that really is their highest advertised asset.
And this raises an important question for you, the learner, as you're maybe looking at your own landscape needs.
Right.
Considering the high-risk nature of tree removal and the importance of tree health, how much does that hyperlocal generational knowledge actually matter to you when you're selecting a service like this?
Is the claim of deep roots in Whittier and Downey more important than, say, the promise of a fast response?
Or is the safety precision in a really complex removal the most valuable thing they advertise? What stands out to you?
Something to mull over as you assess your next project. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next stack of sources.